Honourable Mr. Speaker, honourable members of Parliament, dear Rob, commissioners, distinguished guests. A civilized society is one which believes, lives and respects day in and day out, on all counts without reserve, the rights of all. A society that is not democratic is not civilized at all. Democracy controls the exercise of power because when power is exercised without limits, the persons who are the recipients of rights, especially the vulnerable, are thrust by the wayside. In a democratic and therefore a civilized society, the organs of the state manage power through a system of checks and balances. However, the expression of the modern state is not represented simply by the executive, legislative, and judicial organs, but also extends to the media, to civil society, and constitutional bodies like the Office of the Ombudsman. Because it is independent of all other state offices, the Office of the Ombudsman adds vigor and flavour to democracy. When the office investigates allegations of acts or omissions of government for maladministration, malpractice, unfairness, and improper discrimination, and makes recommendations, the Ombudsman keeps the administration under check, first and foremost to balance any act or omission unjustly perpetrated by the administration, but also, and by no means less important, to enable the administration to change what requires change, to make its people and standards more accountable, to adjust whatever requires adjustment, to avoid wrong decisions, and place justice as its prime mover. When the public service listens and acts, it positively affects the welfare of persons, especially those who require understanding, care, and attention, many a time because they are without a voice. The Ombudsman is there to act as these persons' microphone, or to whom to whisper, or to refer if they are afraid, or hesitant to claim or affirm their rights. The office ensures that laws are being followed on substance and on merit. It is a vital indicator of a well-functioning democracy and an essential institution that lives day by day the rule of law. It is my convinced view that the office should also be a protector of human rights. So far, the office, as the law stands at present, does not have that specific role, emphasis specific. I am of the view that this should not remain the case, and it is a matter of public knowledge that I am striving very hard for this state of affairs to change as soon as possible. The Ombudsman should be seen as an additional non-competitive accountability layer that checks to see if the public administration is working to the benefit of the public. In the course of his investigations, the Ombudsman can spot flaws and injustices. By highlighting them and making recommendations as to how they should be fixed, the office would be tangibly represent an improvement in the quality of the democratic life of the state. What makes the office indispensably strong is the fact that the office is independent and separate from the other organs of the state. However, independence must be earned day by day through fearless action and determination. Crucial is the value of trust in the institution. People will vouch for the institution when the latter, through example, shows that it will not succumb to any sort of pressure from the public administration. A respectful, non-confrontational relationship with the public administration does not in any manner whatsoever affect trust. However, hidden agenda would be its death knell and a certain disaster. Trust is not a game of chance. It has to be a daily challenge and works both ways in the sense that not only must complainants trust the office, the complainants trust the office, but also must the public administration place trust in the office. I quote from a keynote speech which Mrs. Emily O'Reilly, EU Ombudsman, delivered in Brussels on the 18th November of 2015. A well-functioning ombudsman should let people know that they should expect from what they should expect from a democratic state. People should know that they have the right to an open and fair public administration, to know how policy decisions are made and why. They have the right to know who is seeking to influence decision-making, and they have a right to redress. A public administration that is not built on these principles is not a good public administration. But while an ombudsman might have a very strong sense of what it means to be fair, what it means to be open, what it means to be truly accountable, it can be a very difficult job to make sure that administration shares this understanding. The translation of these fine words into actual administrative acts does not run smoothly yet. It is precisely the task of the Ombudsman to help to develop that shared consciousness and to enable an administration to do things, not because it is told to do so by the courts or by the Ombudsman, but because it is instinctively and unhesitatingly knows that it is the right thing to do. Making a public administration accept to implement individual recommendations is generally the order of the day. But culture change should be the priority. Transparency, ethical behavior, openness, and accountability should be part and parcel of the modus operandi of the public administration, not the exception. The Office of the Ombudsman, even when its outlook is positive, can never say that its job is ready. Democracy is fragile, and administrative backdrop is constantly changing, more so in this country, where the mechanics of government has undergone massive and radical changes, like the creation of numerous authorities, agencies, foundations, and limited liability companies, where government is the majority shareholder or where it holds a controlling interest. These are all challenges that the office must live up to. I conclude by quoting again from Mrs. Emily O'Reilly. Ombudsmen have great powers potentially at their disposal. The power of their own personality, the power of quality of the staff in the institution, the power of their investigative tools, the power of the moral authority of the role itself, the power of their alliances with Parliament and with civil society, the power of public opinion, and the power of the media. Successful ombudsmen are like the conductor of an orchestra. They know what instruments to play and when to play them. They know when to roll the drums or just the soft little flute. And occasionally they know when to pause and reflect. A good ombudsman is always asking questions. A good democracy allows him to do so, without fear and without favor. As far as yours truly is concerned, I stop here. Now please allow me to introduce Mr. Rob Behrens, CBE, UK Parliamentary Ombudsman and English Health Service Ombudsman since 2017. He studied political science and government at the Universities of Nottingham and Exeter. He lectured in public policy and administration at the Coventry Polytechnic. He was a visiting professor at the University College London, Institute for Education, and also chair of the European Network of Ombudsmen in Higher Education. In 1992, he became director of the South African Development Unit. He was involved in the preparation of a post-apartheid public service. For his work, not only was he commended, but he was also thanked personally by President Nelson Mandela. In 1997, he became the director of the International Public Service Group, which provided valuable assistance to 25 countries in transition, including countries that were applying for membership to the European Union. In 2003, he was appointed secretary to the Committee on Standards in Public Life. a role that included providing advice to the Prime Minister on issues regarding ethics and conduct of public office holders. In 2006, he became Complaints Commissioner of the Bar Standards Board, which regulates the behaviours and sets standards for barristers in England and Wales. In 2008, he became the Independent Adjudicator and Chief Executive of the Office of the Independent Adjudicator for Higher Education. In 2016, he was appointed Commander of the Order of the British Empire for services rendered to higher education. Mr. Barnes has been an outstanding Ombudsman, and his qualities and values are acknowledged worldwide. Above all, and without any shade of doubt, he is indeed a gentleman with a heart for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge Emeritus Zammit McKeon. Now I give the floor to Rob Berens, who is the Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman in the United Kingdom. It's a privilege for us to have you here in Parliament and to deliver your presentation. You got the floor.